Hey guys, I'm Krista, and this is my big sister Stacey.
And this is Sister Social Call. Well, hey, Sissy.
Hey sis, how's it going?
Good. How are you tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's Friday night.
How was your work day? We haven't even talked today. We can give people an insight into what life looks like. Oh, with Texas. Chrissy's holding Texas right now. So sweet.
Because he was going to eat my plaques. He was going to eat the plaques. The day was good. It started off it was kind of stressful for me because I was supposed to be going to the ranch tonight. And in the middle of the night last night, it started raining.
Oh.
And then the rain turned into snow. And so I woke up this morning and I looked at the weather. My car was totally covered in ice. So of course I was stressing out all day because I was supposed to be going skiing with the girls tomorrow. I just made the executive decision that I was just going to move the ski day to Sunday and forget about stressing, because my last client of the day came in and they came from the city and they said it was crappy and it's going to get worse because it's windy and it's getting colder. How about your day?
Yeah, it was good. Just productive at work. And then here after work, I quickly made a white bean and tofu chili and it turned out really good. And then we went, and one of our stores in town was having their 2-year anniversary. So I bought a couple things that have been on my wish list today.
What store was that?
Valhalla Pier.
Yeah, nice. The peeps from Canmore.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Right on. Yeah, I know I got home from work. After 6, just after 6. And I needed to get out for a walk. So I quickly went for 3.5 kilometers and then came home and watered my plants. And now here we are.
Awesome.
Yeah. So shall we get rolling?
Absolutely.
All right. So 2 weeks ago, I made a pledge to really focus on the amount of times I say the word like inappropriately, and you're the one that does the editing, so you have to tell us all. I haven't heard yet how many likes I've had this week, so it's news to me as it is to everybody listening.
Well, a dramatic decrease in the inappropriate use of the word like. You only said it 7 times.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yep. So that's $2.75 to the jar. So you're up to $13.75.
I'll have to post that jar. I'll have to show you guys a picture of it. It's this huge jar that I was going to use for making kombucha, but then it cracked. And so it was sitting, waiting to go into recycling. And I thought, well, this will be perfect because I'm sure I'll have it full in no time. I'll share a picture of it.
Not with only 7 likes in an episode. We'll be slow going there.
That's true. I'm definitely getting better at it, which is the goal.
Why don't you tell listeners what we are talking about on our podcast today?
Well, we are talking about fucking food prices. Legit. This is a topic that we talk about often. And this is something that we talk about, you and I, because we eat a lot of food and we like food. And it's a topic that comes up every day in the salon. So let's have a little hoedown on this topic, sis. I know that we can do some justice to this topic.
Oh boy, can we ever. So, you know that I am an absolute nerd and I love heavily researched, reliable data for information. So for this week's podcast, I looked at the Canada's Food Price Report that was released in December 2024 for my information, my data. So the 2025 Canada's Food Price Report marks the 15th edition of this annual publication. This report is produced collaboratively by Dalhousie University, University of Guelph, UBC, and University of Saskatchewan. The Food Price Report 2025 forecasts that overall food prices will increase by 3 to 5%, with the most significant increases ranging from 4 to 6% in the meat category. So the average family of 4 is expected to spend $16,833 and some change, which is up another $800 from last year for food.
Wow.
So Chrissy and I also recognize that there are macroeconomic forces at play, like climate change and geopolitical issues that are going to impact our food prices. But when we launched our podcast, we said we weren't going to talk about politics. So what we are going to talk about today is what we can control, our spheres of influence, and how we are trying to manage our increasing food costs. There are other things too. We know that people's salaries are not going up. We know that mortgages are being renegotiated. And so we know that families are feeling this, and we hear you because we are too. And we are too just the two of us with our partners, and Christy has a stepdaughter. And we are finding it really hard, and we're struggling to figure out ways to eat healthy while watching food prices. Sis, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, well, Stacey and I, as she has mentioned, we are lovers of the food. We enjoy good food. We enjoy cooking. We like trying new recipes, new ingredients. We like to eat whole foods. We enjoy really great food. So today we're going to highlight some of our food strategies that we've been using to kind of keep the food budget in check.
The first strategy we want to talk about, and one that Chrissy's deeply committed to, is gardening and canning.
Gardening and canning it hasn't always been because of food prices. But when I was thinking about this topic, I honestly, and I'm planning my garden already for this year, and I am being very strategic in what I'm planting this year because I always plant everything. There's not one thing that I don't really plant, or I try everything at least. But, what I was thinking about is like, okay, what do I want to make sure that I'm going to have a lot of throughout this season? What are things that I know I'm going to use, I'm not going to waste, things that can be preserved, things that can be canned or frozen. So that's kind of been a little bit interesting for me this year. I think just like in gardening in general, I think it really makes you mindful of the food that you are consuming because you put so much effort into growing it. And so for me, I think this year is going to be a pretty big year for canning, preserving, and growing as much of our food as we possibly can throughout the summer. That's a huge thing in general for me. It's something I really take a ton of pride in. I love sharing my food with my family and with my friends. I think it's going to be fairly impactful this year, and we're going to be very mindful about what we're growing, how we're going to preserve it. I've just been watching our canned stuff dwindle down as we've been using it. And it's just such a fulfilling feeling that you're using up what you've made and we didn't overdo it. I think it helps us out significantly. I mean, we're just mindful of using the things that we have. So the things that I really love to can, we've narrowed it down to the things that we really love. And so I can those things and lots of them, but we use them all the time. For instance, our pickled jalapenos, which are a fan favorite of everybody's. It's a condiment we use on everything. We put it on burgers. We put it on nachos. We put it in soup. We put it in anything. We put these in so much stuff. And if you go to the store to buy a jar of pickled jalapenos,
so expensive.
They're expensive. We make them in like the 1-quart jars and we go through them. But then we also give it away as gifts. So that's a bit of a savings as well. And then it's a gift that's a consumable. And that's what, people don't need stuff. It's a huge part of my life in general. But this year, I definitely know that I have been quite a bit more mindful about the things that I do want to plant and things that I know that I can or freeze and preserve. So
I have a question.
Okay.
I want to know what you are changing this year to your garden that will help you can more, or what you're thinking here.
I think just for me, just growing the right things that can last a long time.
So is that looking like carrots and potatoes and more root vegetables this year, do you think?
Well, a similar amount maybe a bit more. Well, every year I always grow quite a few cabbages, broccoli, and I will grow some of those things. Probably a significant amount of cabbage because I could make some sauerkraut with that. Last year I had this whole big area taken out for bok choy and broccoli and cauliflower, things like that, which don't preserve super great.
Mm-hmm.
So I plan on still growing some of that just to have throughout the season as fresh eating. But they're probably not going to take up a ton of real estate in the garden like they did last year. But most things I know how to preserve them, but I did corn a couple of years ago, froze it. And though it was good to put into soup, it just didn't have like a really great texture for anything other than that. So lots of root vegetables, things that'll last a longer time. Our potato crops are rough out there. There's high nitrogen in the soil. And so high nitrogen, and it's a little bit saline out there. So we struggle a bit to grow potatoes that last a long time. They grow but they come with it's called this scab stuff on the outside of them, and that's all fine. So I've been on a mission to try to do that, and the best ones to grow are russet potatoes. So I think this year I'm not going to plant any of the red tomatoes or any of the yellow. The yellow ones grow okay too. They get a little bit of the scab, but I'm for sure going to grow russets because they actually do well there. So I think I'm going to stick with those. So that'll be a bit of a change up too, because I just stick to usually doing those red potatoes. So I think I'm going to do russets. So there'll be lots of interesting little things that'll be trying to do and whatever else for this year. And just trying to keep that all, being mindful of what I'm growing and that I won't be wasting. That's pretty much it. I do highly encourage people to grow their own food. I know it's not totally possible. Stacey, she doesn't have a yard. She lives in a condo, but she grows her own little herbs on her deck and things like that. She's trying. Every little bit helps.
I think lots of communities have community plots that people can purchase. And I've contemplated doing that this year and just growing some of the more expensive veggies that I love. But the things that I also love are like garden carrots. And I would love to support local when it's that time of the season. I'm hoping to do a little road trip down to Creston and buy some fresh fruits this summer.
That's definitely one thing I plan to do this summer as well in the garden. I plan to start planting fruit trees and fruit shrubs and stuff like that. We don't have that at the farm yet because the garden this is its 4th season. And I've just been really trying to work the garden. It's about 1/4 of an acre big. And I do it pretty much all by hand. I have a little rototiller. That's pretty much it. Mark has worked it up a few times with a cultivator, but it stays too muddy where it is to have a big tractor in there. So anyways, for the last few years, I've just been planting it intensively to try to just get the soil worked. But now I got it to a point where this year I'm like, okay, I want to have a couple apple trees for sure this year. They're expensive to buy, so I'll probably just start with 2 because you need to have 2 to plant them to pollinate. And then I'll probably get a couple hascap berry bushes and some raspberries as well. Shall we just move on to strategy number 2?
Okay. The second strategy that I've been really employing recently is to really watch for meat in particular to go on sale. I've kind of given up on watching for fruits and vegetables because we just have to buy those anyways, but I have given up on berries. They're just so expensive that I rarely buy berries anymore. I've been watching meat to go on sale in particular, and I won't necessarily meal plan with it. I'll just have it in the freezer. This is a really funny story, though, where I find it kind of funny because when Sean and I first started dating, he was embarrassed, maybe, I'm not sure, that his parents would buy reduced cost meat. Like they have the reduced cost sticker on it. And he's like, I never want to buy reduced cost meat. And I'm like, okay. And so we haven't. Up until very recently, we've been able to not have to buy that. But now with the cost of meat in particular, I am buying meat whenever I can. So it'll be on sale and it might be reduced cost because it's close to expiring. So I get it. It's expensive. I'm trying to eat lots more protein and I'm just trying to buy meat whenever I can see that it's at lower cost. So that's my second strategy is watch for those meat prices to go on sale.
Mark is such a huge 30% off purchaser. Anytime he goes to the grocery store, he literally zips through the meat section and buys anything that's 30% off. It's so funny, which is great. I love that.
And you guys are fortunate. I mean, you're cattle farmers, ranchers. So you can butcher your own cattle.
I was going to say that in the gardening and canning section too, we can also harvest our own meat because Mark is not only a rancher, but he's a hunter. He didn't get a deer this year, but we still had deer sausage left from last year. For next year, I was telling him, please put in for a moose or an elk or something and see if we can get a tag for that. You can always just buy a tag for white-tailed deer, but you have to go into a draw for moose, elk, and mule deer. Anyways, I'm all on them. But yeah, we're super fortunate in the fact that we have cattle, 200 head of cattle out in the field. But the other thing too is that right now we're running out of beef. And we're in between having one ready to be butchered. So, I mean, we're not going without. We still have lots of ground beef, but the rest of it, we're pretty much done with steaks and all that kind of stuff. So you do have to be planning that if you're a rancher, where are we at? Where are the steers at? What do we got to do? Who do we have to bring in? Who do we have to feed some grain to, kind of thing. So, but we are very fortunate. That's a huge thing. And just for so many reasons, knowing where your meat's coming from and how you raised it and what you fed it, super awesome. So that is good. I feel for people that have to buy beef. How do people even eat good, nutritious food at the way things are right now? It's just unbelievable. We are fortunate in the situation that we're in. Stacey, there's so many people out there that can't even afford to eat good, nutritious food. It's no wonder there's like a health crisis out there and such like poor nutrition and obesity that add the cost of everything to it. It's no wonder people go for the fast food, fast, cheap, processed food because you can't even afford other things. And honestly, I swear I would probably be the same if we didn't have the ranch with cattle. Like we'd be eating pork chops probably because that's still cheap, which we like to eat from time to time too. But yeah, it's unbelievable. So I guess this brings us to
your strategy number 3, which is meal prep. And I will say that I admire your dedication to meal prepping because I can plan, but I'm not very good at meal prepping.
It's a survival thing. Because I work long days. When I go to work, I work from 10 in the morning until whatever time I get off. And it's sometimes I get home from work at 8. And if I have to cook a meal and then eat, then I'm not eating till late. And that's the last thing that I want to do at the end of the week. So yeah, I meal prep every Monday and I get my meals all ready for the week. But I used to just go on Pinterest or look through my recipes that I have and I would pick out what I'm going to make. Now I do not do that. I go to the store and I see what's on sale and I rate the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
So if I bring home packs of ground beef or packs of deer sausage or whatever I bring home from there, I look up recipes according to that. But if I'm at the grocery store, I look and see what's on sale. And then while I'm in the grocery store, I will be on Pinterest looking up recipes. It's like, this is on sale, that's on sale. Okay, what can I make with that? So it's a little bit different. I used to just pre-plan everything and now it's kind of I wing it a little bit more once I get to the grocery store and I see what is available, what's on sale. And honestly, I've found some pretty smoking awesome deals lately, not necessarily in the meal prep world, but I always try to buy, apples, bananas, fruit for snacky stuff. But I've been really trying to just buy what's on sale. Is it mango season? Because mangoes have been on sale. I've been eating mangoes like a freaking monkey, I swear. And they've been on sale at Superstore. One day mangoes were 99 cents.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
Super good deal. So now I just buy what's on sale. So the other day I bought mangoes and a pineapple. Pineapple is $2.97. So slice it up, have it in your fridge so you can take a few slices for work for the day and a mango and whatever else. So meal prepping, yes, for sure. I'm definitely on the meal prep wagon where every Monday I make enough food for the entire week. And I eat the same thing all week long. It sounds so boring, but I eat the same. This week, I eat enchilada soup all week long. It's so good.
But you will share that recipe with everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to share that recipe because it's definitely one to write home about. If you're not going to eat it all, it freezes great. I wouldn't put it in the freezer for like 6 months. Definitely not. But if you put soup in the freezer for a few weeks, bust it out on a day that you're running behind. That's the thing too that I do. So I meal prep, but if I have extra left over by the end of the week and I'm heading out to the farm, I'll quickly put it into a container and toss it into the freezer. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Meal prepping, I think, is a big important thing. If you guys meal prep your food, then you're not going to be wasting stuff. You have a plan. You're going to use what you buy. That's helpful in the pocket for sure.
Well, the last strategy that I want to share is a new one that I've been adopting. It's to use the Flashfood app. This is an app where the marketplace connects customers with deeply discounted foods. So I've used the app a few times and I will continue to because it's saving me at least 50% on meat and more than that on produce often. Flash food can be found at Loblaws family locations, Superstore, No Frills. I was reading that last year alone, shoppers at Loblaws family of stores saved more than $50 million in 2024.
Wow, that's impressive. I love that Flash Food app. Somebody introduced me to this and I was just so impressed because you can go on and you can see what your store nearest you, the store you're going to go to, has available for that day. And so this past week, I would have totally gotten them because they had such good stuff in them. Garlic, onions, carrots, peppers, lemons, like all these things that I use. But here's the thing. I freaking grow thousands of cloves of garlic and hundreds of onions. I have a box of onions from last year and I probably have still 30 cloves of garlic. So I just thought, there's no point in buying one of those, even though it's $5. But if you guys have access to a Flash Food app, go on them. They're amazing. Like the stuff I've seen on them, I'm not in Regina. I only go to the city on Mondays for groceries. So if I was there every day, I would pay way more attention to what's going on that because there's some good freaking deals.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I purchased 2 bags of fresh fruits and it still have some of it left. There in one bag there was 9 pears, 6 apples, 8 or 9 lemons, and I think that's it. But there was like 2 types of pears in there. So there's red pears and green pears. And the green pears were actually rock solid when I got them. So like they weren't even my type of pear that I want to eat. So they've just been sitting on my counter getting soft. The produce is excellent. I bought a box last week of just vegetables. And there was 3 things of dill in there, which I cannot use 3 things of dill, like 3 bunches of dill. So I took that and made a dill doobie, and I will share that also this week on our Instagram account of how to preserve fresh dill when you have too much of it. And this will be great for folks that grow dill in the summertime.
You introduced me to that, and I've rolled the dill doobie every year since.
Yeah. Another couple of things I got in there was 2 bunches of green onions. This box in particular, I think, was $4. We all know that green onions are $2 a bunch now. It's ridiculous.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah, so overall, it was a great purchase, and I have been paying more attention to it. And I do get groceries on Saturday, so I'm going to be checking it tonight because it's Friday night to stock up on some veggies tomorrow.
Yeah, I just love that. I definitely am going to be more mindful about that come Monday when I'm heading to the city. That's the thing too. You kind of got to be organized because you purchase it on the app. So get the Flashfood app if you guys are in an area that they offer this flash food. I honestly think it's huge. And it's kind of exciting when you get a bag of food that you don't know exactly what's all going to be in there because it makes you like the pears. Well, I don't typically buy pears, but it would definitely make me cook with pears. If I got the bag, you'd be trying something a little bit new with them, which is awesome.
Yeah, I got a lot of lemons. And I think lemons actually keep a long time in your fridge once they're in there. And I made 2 lemon loaves with it. I do have a code for, and you should too, Chrissy, with your Flashfood app. So we can throw those up on Instagram too.
Honestly, it's such a sweet thing.
It also supports our personal values of not having food waste. That's why I think we also love it.
Exactly. I was thinking that too. It's a great way to minimize food waste while still making a little bit of profit. That's awesome for the grocery stores. Awesome for us. It's such a good thing all around. I just love the idea of it. So, and there's bread. It's not just produce. Like Stacey said, there's meat. I often see a bunch of bread sitting there, like buns, breads, loaves, whatever. So there's all kinds of great things. So do yourself a favor, get the Flashfood app.
Absolutely. Well, I think this takes us to a non-sponsor sponsor ad.
Okay, my non-sponsor sponsor this week is going to be my friend Samantha Joyle. Sam owns and runs the Lumsden Hotel and Bar. It's a great little restaurant in Lumsden. Honestly, she's got such a good thing going on in there. She had a chef in there. He was from Mexico, I do believe is where he was from. Anyways, he's not there anymore, but he created this unbelievable menu there and they have such great food. They do single there. They have karaoke. They have lots of fun things that go on. So one of my good friends, Sam, she runs that herself, has a great team of staff there. So pump up to you, Sam. You're freaking rocking it.
Awesome. Well, I think this takes us to our Peaks, Pits, and Plans this week.
Oh, here we are at our Peaks, Pits, and Plans. All right. Well, I think I'll get started here.
Great.
So my pit is there was really no pit until today when I woke up with my car covered in ice. And then I was fretting about that all day. So that was not super great. But doesn't matter because I made the executive decision to not have to drive in it. I'm over that part of my life. My peaks for this week, well, it started off last weekend. Mark and I got a fan installed in the living room at the ranch, which has been sitting there needing to be installed for the last couple months. So we did that project and it was awesome and I feel really good about it. So hooray for that. And then I had a great riding lesson on Tuesday with my Jetta girls. So that went really, really good. And then my women's group started back up on Wednesday. We had a couple-week break. And anyways, I felt very overwhelmed for the last few weeks when I didn't have my women's class. So much so my sister said to me that I needed to get back to it. She's like, you don't even seem like yourself. You need to get back to your group. So this week was back to the women's group and it was so freaking awesome, but extremely emotionally and energetically charged. So it was a real kickoff to the next 6 weeks, I'll say. And then, yeah, for my plans, well, I was supposed to do the skiing with the girls tomorrow, so I pushed that to Sunday. I was able to move the ski lesson to Sunday, so thanks to Mission Ridge for that. And then I have my riding lesson on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I'm actually taking the day off from work because I have to take my car in for tie rod to be done, a wheel bearing, wheel alignment. I take that in the morning. Then I have my women's group after that. So I just booked the whole day off because I have to pick my car up, I think, by 5 o'clock. And anyway, so I'll just be in the city all day doing errands and stuff. And then actually next Friday, I mentioned Jolynn last week. She did the meal prep class and then she was a non-sponsor sponsor. And she's just getting her training to teach Pilates. And she invited me to her first practice teaching class on Friday morning at 8:15 in the morning.
Oh, what a great time.
That's a bit early for me, but I'm going to support the girl. She invited me to go, so I'm going to go. It's in Lumsden at Wilkie Wellness. I've never been there before to that gym either, so I'm excited. So I'm doing that Friday morning. And that is pretty much going to wrap up my peaks, pits, and plans for the week, you guys. Sissy, what about yours?
Yeah, I was thinking about this today. I don't think I have any pits, which is fabulous. I love when that happens. My peaks, on Monday, I got all my blood work done and my ECG came back normal. Some of my blood work's back, and I'm not going to interpret that because we'll wait to see what the rest of it looks like. I had a really lovely lunch with one of my friends here in town on Monday. I have been feeling really good. We talked in my goals about big energy. It's like that big planning energy that I'm really just trying to foster the entire year. And it has a lot to do with creativity and planning. And I feel like this week we were really nailing it with the creativity with all of our social media planning. Chrissy and I were like ahead of the game, and that's feeling really good. And I'm like in Canva, and it's a very good creative outlet. So that's been a nice little energy booster, I'm finding.
You're doing a great job with that, by the way. I'm very impressed by what you're doing.
Thanks, sis.
For somebody she's like, I don't use this. I don't even know what I'm doing. She's just busting out all these amazing posts for her Instagram. So if you don't already follow us, go over there and check it out. I do some of the posts, but she does a lot of them, and she's doing fabulous.
I kind of feel like a little bit of a tech wizard the last few days. Chrissy's going to be out in Invermere in 2 weekends. And so we would like to do our first in-person podcast. So I've been working hard to figure this IT out to support that. I have some solutions. I don't have them all, but I'm going to start testing at our library with some of their tech tools next week on Monday. So when Chrissy gets out here in 2 weekends, we should be able just to plug and play. That is the hope.
We'll be ready to rumble.
Yeah, and I had like a real good success at work this week, which required some tech integration into a PowerPoint presentation, and I just felt like a real winner. A real winner chicken dinner, getting that all sorted out. In the health and wellness, the exercise stuff, I have a love-hate relationship with CrossFit, but today I was put into the CrossFit Open, not knowing what the CrossFit Open is. I was put on a team, which is not my jam. I don't compete. Like, I have none of those things. Anyways, today was the third of these series. The first week, I didn't even know what was happening. I don't even remember what the exercise was. Last week, I left there nearly crying. This week, I was a little bit more prepared because I knew what the exercises were. But I only got through 2/3 of it before I ran out of time before my class was done. But I did deadlift 145 pounds 25 times today.
Wow, that's impressive.
I am so happy that I don't hurt. I was slow. And I didn't finish the whole slot of exercises, but I gave it my all with the deadlifts, and that's great.
Just a deadlifting machine.
Well, and like, I actually can see the purpose of deadlifts, right? Like, to pick things up. I see the value in my life of deadlifts. I don't see the value in my life of doing snatches or cleans, other than for fitness. But deadlifts, yes, because I have to pick shit up. And I'll have to pick up stuff for the rest of the
Oh my gosh. You're like the most proud. You can't even just go to a workout with being logical.
Yeah, with literal. Very, very.
Literal, practical, logical. It's like you can't just go in there and be, okay, today we're doing a snatch or we're going to do you overthink it every time.
For plans, not much again. We are getting close to our busy season of visitors. So I'm going to stock up our freezer with some baked goodies like muffins this weekend and maybe cookies. Get those treats ready.
Those weekends are the best when you can get those things done and it's when you're done them for a while. Once you get the freezer stocked, you're good to go for a couple months. Yeah, so good.
I'm going to go to the library to do more scanning and try and get that project done before the end of the month. That was my goal. I'm getting close. Going to go skiing on Sunday with our friends Mark and Laura. And we're going to go to the Helly Ski Lodge tomorrow night for dinner.
Oh, that sounds great.
We've never done that, so that'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, my friend, I was out for a walk today. My friend Jess texts me. She says, what are the chances you'd want to bring your skis to Melville tomorrow so I can pull you behind my horse? Like ski joring. Have you heard of it?
I have. They have a big ski joring festival in Banff.
Yeah, they're doing this in Melville. I said, I think you really overestimate my skiing abilities.
We got to back up here for a second. Is she just wanting to do it for fun, or is there another reason why she'd want you to do this? Like, is there a competition? Is there a festival? Like, what's going on?
Yes, there's a winter type festival and ski joring is an event at it. And she's a cowgirl. This girl is a cowgirl through and through. She's a vet and she's an animal lover and she's a cowgirl. Anytime Mark needs help wrangling up the cows, Jess comes and helps us deal with the cows. I just had this like picture in my head because if you ever see these ski joring people, they're totally decked out in full fur chaps and cowboy hats.
Wild outfits.
Wild. I told her, like, well, we're going to have to practice up for next year. Maybe I'll give it a shot, but I don't ski that great. There's like, she would have to pull me just on flat ground. I couldn't hit a jump or anything. I'd break something.
Aren't they on flat ground or do they actually jump off things?
There's ramps and rollers and things like that. Yeah. I wouldn't be doing any of those.
No.
But I thought it was pretty funny that she had asked me. Oh my gosh.
She's going to find an 18-year-old boy that wants to do that. This is too dangerous for people our age.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. But, you know, she's like, it's just for fun. We don't have to go fast. Well, it could be kind of a fun experience for sure. But I need an outfit. I can't go ski joring in my Helly hats and ski gear. I need some fur chaps.
I'll keep an eye on the thrift store.
Please do.
I will. If I find you fur chaps, you are ski joring whenever I find them. You could be 7.
Mark has chaps.
But they're not furry.
They're not fur, but I could probably borrow his. They're tasseled. They have tassels on them. But they're not big and furry like you would see at the ski joring events. It's a whole thing. It's unbelievable. So anyways, I felt pretty honored that she'd asked me. I don't have the skills for that. Jeez. Or the attire.
I think she needs an 18-year-old boy to be her ski joring.
Yeah, she's got some children. I don't know why they're not in on it, but they're all very competitive sports players. So they probably don't want to risk hurting themselves. Well, I don't want to either, but I think it would be kind of fun. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for us on our event episode, you guys. Amazing. We've hit over 500 downloads. We're feeling pretty jazzed about that. Thank you guys so much for listening to what we got going on, for supporting us, for showing the love. So definitely head over if you haven't already and follow us on Instagram. Also follow us on Spotify and Apple, whatever streaming platform you prefer, and give us a follow so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. And then if you love what you hear, share us with your friends and family. Share the episode. And thank you guys so much for supporting our crazy little venture that we're up to.
Totally. Thanks, everybody. Love you, sissy.
Love you too.